Okay. Everyone will have about 5 minutes. Okay. And 5 minutes, what do you get? All right. Who wants to go first? Is there any order of preference?
I go
Should I call?
first.
Okay. All right. And that's Jimmy. Okay. Jimmy, if you could turn on your camera, please. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's start. All right. Here we go. All right, Jimmy. Why would you like to join our company? What motivates you?
So obviously, I'm applying for the general manager job with the Cubs, and I'm from the Chicagoland area, so it's easy for me, and I know a lot about the sport, and I just think it's interesting for me to get into that sort of job setting.
Okay. And what's our uh, if you could tell us something about what you know about our organization.
So what I know about the organization is they want to build the team that becomes a championship winner. And I feel like I can do that. Think I can bring a championship to Chicago and help the organization build a team. And with budget concerns and trading players, I feel like I'd be a good part of that.
Okay. And what can you tell us about the position that you've applied for?
So for the position, it would be to trade players, cut players, sign players, just making moves to make the team better. And it's more of a budget thing. So I would be handling the team's budget, making sure we're not spending too much money, making sure we're spending enough money. And just making sure we are in a good place financially to be a successful organization.
Okay. And since you've talked about budget and planning your budget and being in charge of budget, do you have any experience in the past where you have worked on a tight budget or maybe a budget where you could have the flexibility to do a few experiments here and there? But tell us about your experience in regards to budgeting.
So I've taken a lot of budgeting classes. Personally, I don't have anything that would be like a job for budgeting, but I've taken many courses that involve budgeting in school, at least four courses. So
Okay. All right. Tell us about your personal development goals. What would you like to establish, or what would you like to do to develop yourself personally? What does personal mean to you, first of all? What does personal development goal mean to you, and then what is it that you're going to do to set up personal development goals for yourself?
sorry, can you repeat that?
What is personal development goal for you? When I ask you, what
Oh,
is
okay,
your
sorry.
personal development? What is that? And what are you setting up for yourself in establishing or in moving towards your personal development goals?
So my personal goal is to get as high up in the organization as I can. For me, I want to learn more about, budgeting as a whole because there's always more to learn and learn more about um, just managing a team more. That would be a personal goal of mine. Just having open ears is a big thing of mine.
All right. tell me about give me an example of a challenging situation that you faced at work, at home, in your family. It could be, in school. What have you learned through that challenging experience? And were you alone when you had that experience? Were you with some people, perhaps some team members? How did it, what did you learn from the process?
So I've had a lot of challenging experiences. I currently play baseball, so uh, we've had a lot of challenging experiences where I'm a team captain, so I like kind of like help keep the team up and stuff. So we've had challenging experiences where we lose like to bad teams and we have to move on and turn the page. So I kind of have to lead them to calm down. It's only one game. We'll move on to the next one. So
Okay, so basically, how do they deal with a loss, or how do they, if they don't win, how do you set them up to accept uh, a loss, or and how do you move forward? This is what the learning was through this, to
yeah,
handle
so
how the emotions of people.
yeah, so there's nothing you can do about it. Like once you lose, you lose. Like you can't
Yeah.
undo it. So you have to just have a clear mind and move on to the next game and don't make it two losses, make it another win the next game.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. All right. All right. We'll go. Who's going to go next?
I can go if nobody else wants to.
And okay, Maddie.
Yeah. Oops.
All right, here we go. All right, hi, Maddie.
Hi.
All right. First of all, how's your health?
It's doing better, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good, good. All right. All right, let's start. So, tell me, why do you want to join us?
Yeah, so I like researched the company a lot actually, and I realized that you guys opened 40 years ago, and I thought it was kind of cool because it was originally just a mom and dad opening one small restaurant, and they wanted to do it for their kids. So basically their kids had a place to work and build that family legacy. And now over 40 years later, there's like many locations, around 50 locations throughout the Chicago area, which I think is kind of cool because my grandparents own a restaurant and it's only one restaurant, but it's very family oriented and I'm looking to expand it. So it's kind of cool. It would be cool to see how that was done and manage a restaurant like that. And I know that you guys' mission and vision statements are rooted in family values and tradition. And that's kind of what I want to carry when I open my own place. So I think that's cool. And the working environment seems pretty nice from what I've learned about. It's very team oriented and it's always like someone helping someone else. And I've always been a part of a team and really like that aspect of my life and running a teammate and being a captain and doing stuff with that. So I think it'd be cool to kind of get into that culture as well.
Wonderful. Actually, you just mentioned that your family owns a family-owned restaurant. Did you intern or did you work with them? Have you worked?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
that's
I've actually been in that business. They opened it 2 weeks before I was born. So since the time I can remember, I was always running around the business. But once I got into high school, I started waitressing for them. And I don't do it as much anymore because I'm up at school. But when I go home, I still waitress and try to help out with that and create like new initiatives for marketing and stuff with them since they're trying to get a younger crowd into the restaurant. But yeah, I really
okay.
enjoy going in there and working.
Okay, so what do you think are the three main things that you've learned working? And because I'm sure you're very, it's in the family, so you get to. It's just not at work. I'm sure you get to hear that when you're having dinner with just just casual conversations with your family. what is the three things that you've learned while working there that you would like to carry over at our restaurant?
Yeah, one of the main things I've learned is that every day is gonna be different, and like sometimes you really just don't know what's gonna happen. People don't show up for work, and when that happens, you kind of have to take over other jobs that you didn't realize you were gonna have to do. So you kind of have to learn how to do everything, which I didn't really realize. Like my grandparents go in there, and sometimes a cook doesn't show up, and they're back there cooking the whole shift, which is interesting because I personally wouldn't know how to do that yet. So I think that's interesting. And then just learning how to talk to customers who aren't satisfied, because sometimes there are those customers who are either just difficult or something went wrong with their order, and you have to learn like how to deal with that. And it's always like the customer's always right, kind of. So that's like an important aspect in the business, because you want them to come back. You don't want a customer who's going to go like talk bad about your business as well.
Right.
Yeah. And then just helping workers out. So like when you have free time, you shouldn't just be sitting around. Like if you're not busy, someone else is busy. So running food for them or checking on their tables really makes a difference in like the restaurant setting and keeping people happy.
Wonderful, actually. So tell me something, and the last question is going to be about a challenging situation that you faced at working, and if you have any examples there, you thought that it was a rough day at the restaurant. Any incident that reminds you? Any examples?
Yeah, so actually, I also waitress at a place up at school. And so this place is more of like, it's a stir fry place. So it's kind of like you go through the line and put all your food in a bowl, and then you wait at the grill and they cook it. And it kind of gets really busy. And one day we were understaffed. We only had one cook and like two waitresses, and we didn't even have a host. So we were very understaffed for the day. And it was a Saturday. There was like a nice day out. So a ton of people were coming in, and we ran out of bowls and silverware while people were in there. So we were like, okay, what do we do here? Like, these people can't eat. The grill line is like wrapped around twice, and our manager's cooking, so no one can wash the dishes. So it was like kind of finding time to clean dishes when you have like 2 seconds, even though you have a full table, and just like working on the fly and being like, I'm sorry, we don't have dishes right now for you guys. Like, and giving them appetizers that they can eat, and like, we had to give away some stuff, but just to satisfy them while they wait so they don't get mad and leave.
Wonderful. Wow, that's quite a bit that you've managed.
Yes.
Thank you very much for
Yeah.
this interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay. All right. Madison. All right. All right. All right. Madison, tell us, why do you want to join us?
Well, I think what I value the most is like we have the same values that I found within the mission statement, which revolves around seeing the person as, the whole person rather than reducing them to a set of symptoms, which is so common in healthcare today. Seeing them for who they are physically, mentally, and spiritually, rather than just reducing them to their symptoms, their patient chart, and in psych assessments, their test score. And that's something that's very easily instilled in us based on, just growing up like in the school system. Like you get a bad test score and like you immediately think that defines you as who you are as a student. Like I failed my test and I'm a bad student. And then that's very easy to be communicated to a patient if they, get a bad score on their psychological assessment. So I really think it's important that, you value the person for who they are rather than just, their score that they're receiving. And that's part of the mission statement. So I think that that's really great to see that.
Wonderful. So, so that's actually very beautifully expressed, that, yeah, sometimes we just, that's what we do, especially with healthcare. You just see, how the person is doing, and the cholesterol level, this and that, and then this person becomes a number. And that's, in terms of health communication, patient-doctor communication becomes very problematic, and it leaves a burden on the patient. Yeah, so I would like to know if you could talk about, the position. What do you think the position is? What do we design this position, and how do you think you're a good candidate for this position?
Yeah, so the position is for psychological assessments, as a psychometry
Yeah.
position. So
Yeah.
I would be administering the assessments and then scoring them, and then playing a part in interpreting the results along with the licensed psychologist. So a lot of that is communicating with the patients, which I have experience in working at the hospital. I work in patient access right now, so I talk to just patients all the time and try to get to know them better. And then I also used to work in retail, so I have experience with customer service there. And then I took a psychological assessment course last semester where we actually did this really cool project at the end of the semester where we, administered a variety of tests for a peer. So then I got to basically go through like a practice of what that would be like in a professional setting and kind of let my peer know more about themselves. And then in turn, they also did an assessment for me. And then I also got to learn more about myself as well.
Okay, all right. So tell me something, did you ever have a challenging situation in regards to, working with patients, something that wasn't expected and that's something that just came up? Have you ever, you know, faced a situation while you were at work that wasn't planned and was just thrown on your plate and you had to deal with it?
Um, Not really like regarding patients so much. I mean, I've had
Okay,
patients who are like, they're at the hospital, so obviously they don't want to be there sometimes. So sometimes it's hard to
okay,
communicate with them, like they're upset, and you just kind of like gotta like calm them down and like make them feel like they're appreciated and like you're there to help them in that kind of situation.
okay. Some situations like that has happened that the patient had to be. How do you deal with that? Um, how do you do that? That's an emotional kind of a labor, right? To go through that and how do you do that?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is just be welcoming and be kind. If they like a lot of times they come off as hostile, if they like don't want to be there. So just to be kind and don't raise your tone to match theirs, just being kind and welcoming. If they're upset, my job is just to get their information, their insurance and stuff. So, if they're upset, I'll just come back later if it's that bad, or just try
Okay.
make a connection with them on that level. So
Right. Okay. So tell me something. What if you are if both of us are a good fit for each other and you join us, what would be a personal development goal for you? How would you develop yourself first?
my major goal is to eventually get my master's degree in forensic psychology. So then I would be qualified on my own to administer psychological assessments. So having this experience in the professional setting while continuing my education, I think that would give me a lot of practical skills that I could use later on. And then eventually I could be a psychologist still at this firm, and then practicing psych on my own.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you very much for the interview. All right. Just on time. All right. That's it, Madison. Who wants to go now? Okay, so we just have Cecilia left, right? Okay. Cecilia is there. All right, Cecilia. All right, we're on. Okay, say something, Cecilia. No, I can't hear you. So what I can sense, yeah, that's okay. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you.
Okay, can you hear
Okay,
me?
say something. Yeah, now I can hear
Okay,
you. Yes,
okay.
yes.
Thank you.
All right. So, all right, Cecilia, tell us, why do you want to join us?
So I've lived in Illinois my entire life. I grew up here in Naperville, just outside of Chicago. And so staying local to look for a job was really important to me. And Lake County is only about an hour away from where I live. So it would be pretty local. It would be in the state. And I'm really passionate about environmental efforts and improving the sustainability of not just like my county or like my town, but the whole of Illinois as a whole. And Lake County, when I was researching their initiatives and sustainability programs, Lake County has a lot of systems in place, such as solar installations, recycling programs, and composting programs, as well as air quality management and wastewater treatment. That was really important for me to see that there are already things that are set up. And working with Lake County as a sustainability programs manager will allow me to learn more about these, but also to help grow Lake County as a whole.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned that you are very enthused about sustainability. Can you tell us, some projects that you've taken, or some work? It could be working for even in a class, or some project while doing any internship that kind of shows that you are driving for this cause.
Yeah, so for my senior research thesis, I actually completed a sustainability plan for a local restaurant in downtown where I work, Everdean's Grilled Cheese. And so a sustainability plan is basically, it assesses all the environmental impacts that the business goes through, and it, working with a sustainability plan, it helps to put environmental initiatives in place. So for example, when I was working with Everdean's, I researched their food packaging and their food waste. And I researched different topics that could help them to improve food waste and to reduce their landfill waste, and also switch to more sustainable initiative packaging. So like switching from cardboard packaging to compostable or biodegradable packaging was something that I focused on. And so for that project, I basically went through all the different areas of Everdean's, and I assessed them, and I helped them to improve their sustainability initiatives.
Okay, all right. So tell us something when you join us with your prior experience and with what your personal development goals. What do you think you're going to get? What the position entails and what we desire. What do you think that you will be getting as a candidate? Something more to the table.
Yeah. So ideally, I would. I'm a big follower of the triple bottom line, which is planet, profit, and people when it comes to environmental efforts. So seeing how the planet sustainable initiatives can impact profit and can impact the people in the area is something that I've always wanted to learn more about, and learn how, if we put sustainable initiatives in place, is it taking away from businesses, or is it taking away from the quality of people's life? So just like this program, this position with Lake County will help me to develop those thoughts and to look into that more as the community of Lake County and how they take to sustainable initiatives, and if they use the initiatives that we put in place, and just knowing how all of them are interconnected.
Okay, and that's a good. You've talked about the commercial part of it as well, and how businesses could suffer, or so trying to make it easy and trying to make it so that they can embrace this much more.
Yes.
Because that's why I think that's one of the things, that's the bottleneck. That's what we face, and that's why sometimes they back off, and we need to work with them on that end as well. All right, thank you very much. The interview is done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.